Okay, I want to quickly go over the parts of the microscope. You should have this sheet out in front of you, and you should have this sheet out in front of you. I want you to label it as we go through the parts. I just want to quickly run through, tell you where everything's at, and also show you what everything does. Okay, so we'll start at the very beginning. The eyepiece. The eyepiece is right here. It's also known as the ocular lens, and it's always 10x. So this is where you're looking into the eyepiece, or looking into the microscope is your eyepiece. And if you notice, I'm not sure you can tell from this video, this turns, okay? And it has an arrow in there. So you can turn the arrow. So if you've got something you want to point the arrow to, so you want me to see that specific thing, you just keep turning this, turn the arrow where you want it. Okay, next. So on your sheet, you should have labeled this, the eyepiece. The inclined head is right here. Okay, that's this whole piece right here. And it moves the eyepiece around. So this is really handy when you're sitting at your desk and I'm on the other side of the desk. You can just swing it around and I can see it as well without being on the same side of the desk as you. So we'll just turn that around. So the inclined head, that is the second one right here. The inclined head moves the eyepiece around. Revolving nose piece. That is where these lenses down here are attached. I'm trying to get it to where the lighting, so you can see it on the board. Okay, this spins around. So it's this black piece right here, and it's spinning the different objective lenses around. So you can change powers. Just think of it this way too. A lot of kids mix up the word inclined head with revolving nose piece, and they put inclined nose piece, and they mix it up. The nose is attached to the head. Okay, so the head comes first, and then you get a nose piece. An incline, an incline is like a slope. So the inclined head is attached where there's going to be an incline. Maybe that will help. And this is like a revolving door going around. I realize this turns too, but that has the word incline attached to it. So hopefully that will help you remember. This is where the slant is up here and revolving nose piece down here. Okay, so the revolving nose piece turns those objective lenses. All these are objective lenses down here. Easy enough to remember that these are the objective lenses versus the ocular lens, because the objective lenses are closer to the object you're going to be viewing. You're going to put your objects on the stage. Okay, so hopefully you put right here, that third line down is revolving nose piece. You've got 3 objective lenses. On this line, which is the 4th line, you can just put the word objective lenses, and then why don't you separate out the 3? High power, medium power, and then the smallest one would be low power. So low power is only 4x. And if you were looking at the microscope yourself, you would see it has a number 4 written on it. And then you turn it, and these other lenses, they have a 10 and they have a 40. Okay, so it tells you right on the lens what they are. Now on yours, you're going to see we've got a blank right here that is just sitting there that you could add another lens. You could put a 100x lens on there. We just don't need it. That's for oil immersion. So we only have 3 lenses. So you're going to have a blank spot right there. And you should feel the objective lenses click into place. They have to click, otherwise you're not going to be able to view anything. So you've got 4x and 10x and 40x magnification. Okay, next one on your list here is a stage clip. This picture is not exactly the same as this microscope, so I want to go over this with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th line down is the stage clip, and its job is to hold the slide in place. Now yours looks very different. It's the silver. And you're going to pull this lever back. If you pull the lever back, you can put your slide. I wish I would have grabbed a slide real quick. You can put your slide right in here, and this will hold it into place. All right, so that's what you do with that. Next, the sixth line down off to the side, you're looking at the stage. That's this big black square right here, and the stage is where you're going to actually put your slide. All right, the next one on your list is the diaphragm. Okay, the diaphragm is right below the stage, and it regulates the amount of light entering the microscope. You actually have an iris diaphragm on here. Okay, your iris diaphragm, let me see, I'm not sure how I can get the angle right here. The silver knob, I don't know if you can see that. There's a silver knob right here. That is actually not the one that adjusts the diaphragm. When you see this, I don't know, can you see up close? Can't tell. Okay, so that one right here, that is moving the diaphragm up and down. That doesn't actually regulate the amount of light coming in. You've got to go with a lever. Okay, the lever right here, you push it back and forth, and if you were looking into the microscope, you would see that it's regulating the amount. Okay, do I want a lot of light or not very much light? So that's why we say it's like an iris diaphragm, like the iris in your eye. Your iris will get really, really big if you walk into a room where it's not very bright. It's a darker room, and your eye needs more light, so it really opens up. But if you go into some place that's really bright, okay, it's going to close in. Same thing here. So it just kind of works like an iris diaphragm. Okay, the lamp is the light source, which we get to actually plug in our light. You have an on-off switch on the back. That's how we're going to turn this on. The base, right here. Okay, so the base and the arm are the two places that you're going to carry a microscope. And when you carry a microscope, you do want to carry it close to you. Okay, kind of cradle it like your little baby as you're walking back to your desk. You want to really safeguard it, and don't just hold it out here where someone can knock your arms. Okay, so hold it close. Arm and base. That's how you carry a microscope. So on your sheet, we labeled the base down here. There's your lamp right above it. Next, we've got the coarse adjustment and the fine adjustment. The coarse adjustment is the very large knob compared to the very tiny knob. And my study strategy for that, hopefully, is easy to remember. When you think about sand and sandpaper, especially those of you that are in wood shop, if you have coarse sandpaper, that means the grains of sand are bigger. Fine sandpaper, the grains of sand are very, very tiny. Okay, so the word coarse, you're thinking big. The word fine, like a fine grain of sand, you're thinking the smaller one, okay? The coarse adjustment, its job is to bring the object into rapid focus. You always use this first, okay? Notice when I turn this, the stage goes up and down. Okay, so that's so you can just find the object. You just got to locate it, okay? So it's just not really bringing things too much into focus, except just to find my object. You don't use it when you're on high power because the objective lens is so tall, you don't want to hit that objective lens. So you find your object when you are on low power, and then you fine tune it with using this small one down here, the fine adjustment. So that's how you kind of fine tune, make it come in really clear so you can see fine details. When you switch it over to medium power, you only need to use the fine adjustment, kind of fine tune your focus again. You don't need to locate the object. This is just big, locate it. And then you would switch it over to a high power and again, use your fine adjustment and make sure it's really in focus. Okay, the dimmer switch. The dimmer switch is not on your sheet. I want you to add it. I want you to add a switch right here. It is right here on the side. So that's where I want you to put it on your sheet. The dimmer switch adjusts the brightness of the light. Many of you probably have a dimmer switch at home, maybe in your dining room or living room or something, and it adjusts just how bright the light is. Where the diaphragm says, how much light do you want? And then the dimmer switch says, well, how bright do you want it? So you can have a lot of light, but not very bright, or you can have just a little bit of light and really, really bright. Okay, so the amount of light is the diaphragm. The brightness is the dimmer switch, which you'll really have to use both of those when we are using something that has been stained. Because it makes it harder to see without adjusting the light. All right, those are the basic microscope parts and functions. Make sure you know those. Color code, that's great. And then I'm also going to include a video soon on some other facts about the microscope and how to make a wet mount slide. So we're all ready to go with that.